Kayla, and today I wanted to make a video discussing and responding to comments of people saying that I am not blind. So this is something that I get, I wouldn't say I get it all the time, but occasionally and often enough that I feel like I want to make a video to talk about it. And that is people commenting on my YouTube videos, literally saying, "You're not blind," or "She's not blind." And so I wanted to make a video talking about this for a couple of reasons. Number one is to just kind of have a discussion with you guys, my fellow blind people and fellow blind YouTubers, because I know you get this too. It's a very common thing that people comment on blind people's videos saying that they're not blind. It's almost kind of like a rite of passage. Like when you get people commenting on your videos that you're not blind, that's how you know you're like officially a blind YouTuber now. But also blind people deal with this too in real life, of people accusing them of not being blind. So I thought we could just have ourselves a little chat about this topic. I also wanted to make this video because, I'm always trying to educate, so I think it's important to shed light on this topic. Number one, to inform of other-sided people of the, just talking about the misconceptions that these comments are based on, like why are people saying that I'm not blind, and talking about those misconceptions so sighted people can just be aware of that and they can know not to make those same mistakes themselves. And I also want to share just kind of how it feels for someone to accuse you of not being blind, because sometimes that can kind of be a hard pill to swallow. And the third reason why I wanted to make this video is so when I do get these comments of people saying I'm not blind, I will just have a video that I can direct them to and say, here you go, watch this. That kind of puts them in their place. So let's talk about some of these specific comments and the underlying misconceptions. So the first kind of comment I get is that I must not be blind because I don't look blind. And this is probably one of the most common misconceptions in the blind community. We all talk about it. Almost every blind person has been told that they don't look blind. So if no blind people look blind, then your idea of what blind people are supposed to look like must not be very accurate. The truth is, I am not unique. Most blind people do not fit the stereotypical way that people think a blind person should look. I made an entire video on the whole "you don't look blind" thing, so I will link that below. I like to say that I was born with this face and this hair and this body, whether my eyes work or not. People also think I don't look blind because I wear glasses, and I understand that. I get that it's confusing, because if you see someone with glasses, then you probably think they're not blind because they wear glasses to improve their vision. So I understand that. I made a video about why I wear glasses. The short answer is that they help me see like a teeny tiny bit better. But really it's more that I'm just so used to them because I've been wearing glasses since I was 4 years old, and it just feels weird to not wear them even if I don't really need them anymore. And I kind of understand, like if someone were to just see a picture of me, or maybe see me out in public when I'm not using my white cane, maybe I'm just like holding my husband's hand, and they think I'm not blind, or they think I don't look blind. I understand that, but if you are watching my YouTube videos and probably blind is in the title, and I'm sitting here saying that I'm blind and talking about my experience being blind, then your comments saying that I'm not blind because I don't look it is just very ignorant. The next type of comment I get is that I'm not blind because I can still see some. So I can really only see slightly more than shapes and shadows. And to me, and to pretty much everyone else in the world, that's blind. Just because I can see some vague shapes and shadows, that doesn't mean that I can see. You know, I can't read no matter how big the font is. I use a screen reader on my computer and on my cell phone. I cannot navigate around without using a white cane. I can't see what people look like. I can't see what my own reflection in the mirror looks like. I can't see pictures at all. I run into things all the time. Like, what part of that is not blind? You know, I don't understand why these people think I'm not blind enough to call myself blind, when really I don't have any usable vision. Like, being able to see vague shapes and shadows does not really help me very much in my daily life. You know, our favorite thing to say in the blind community is that blindness is a spectrum. And there's some statistic, I don't remember the exact number, but I think it's about 90 to 95% of blind people do have some remaining vision, whether it's they can see a little bit, or if it's just shapes and shadows or just light perception, they can still see something. And so only like 5 to 10% of blind people see absolutely nothing at all. So if you think that you can only be blind if you can see absolutely nothing, you are excluding 90% of blind people. And with blindness being a spectrum, there is also a variety of terms that people use to identify with. You know, there's visually impaired, legally blind, blind, low vision, partially sighted, and, you know, people can choose to identify any way that they want to. Before, when I had better vision, I usually referred to myself as visually impaired or legally blind because there was still quite a bit that I could see, or I could see things with visual aids like magnifiers or like zooming in on a screen. But now that visual aids don't help me and I've lost a lot of vision and I can barely see anything, I feel like just plain old blind describes my experience and my vision a lot more accurately. And you know, if I'm legally blind, if the law says I'm blind, then I can call myself blind. And I don't think it's ever anyone's place to tell someone how they should identify, even in the blind community. Like, it's not our place to tell a fellow blind person how they should identify. There may be some discussion around it about, you know, what terms we should use and, you know, what terms may like confuse the broader population. You know, I understand if there is some discussion, but a lot of times the comments that I get saying I'm not blind because I'm not completely, totally in the dark blind are from sighted people. I remember one comment I got in particular, a person said that I am not blind and that they have a nephew who is completely blind and that's what actually blind is, and I'm not actually blind. So let me make this very clear. Just because you have a family member who is blind, or a friend who is blind, or you know someone who is blind, does not make you an expert on blindness. You know, me and that person's nephew probably have a very similar experience. I bet we both use a white cane and we both use a screen reader. So why is he blind but I'm not blind just because like I can see some shapes? The next type of comments I get are that I'm not blind because I am doing things that people wouldn't expect a blind person to do. For example, I must not be blind because I go on vacation to Disney World. I must not be blind because I play the piano. One of my favorites, I'm not blind because I had perfectly painted fingernails. I guess that person has never heard of a nail salon because I definitely did not paint those myself. I really could go on and on about this, but essentially, people expect blind people to just like sit in the dark and stare at the wall, or not stare at the wall because they can't see the wall. I don't know, but they expect us to like not do normal things, which is not correct. Like, blind people do tons of things. I remember another specific comment I got in a video where I was showing how I do things around the kitchen without sight, and they said that I'm not blind because I walked right over to the measuring cups and picked them up, so I must have been able to see them. Which to that, I always say, you know, if you were to see a blind person in their own home, you would probably have no idea that they're blind, because we know how to get around and we know where everything is. So like, I know how to get around my own kitchen because I go in there every single day, and I knew where the measuring cups were because I put them there, and I had like been rehearsing that video, so I knew exactly where they were. It's not that I could see them. And I think that's another expectation that people have, is that if you're blind, you're just like fumbling around all the time. And so if you're not fumbling around, then you must not be blind, or like they don't expect us to be able to do things or to do things efficiently. But the truth is, we are very adaptable. And if we don't appear to be blind, it just means that we're adapting and we have found a creative solution of how to do something. It doesn't mean that like we just must be able to see, because how in the world could we pick up some measuring cups without sight? This also reminds me of this very popular meme that was going around a while ago. That was a picture of a lady using a white cane and looking down at a smartphone. And people were losing their minds over it, that this person must be faking, where the truth is that she could have been using Zoom and magnified in on the phone, or she could be like me and be using voiceover where her phone reads everything to her, and it's just a reflex to look down at it. Like, I look at things all the time, even if I can't really see them. I look at my phone when I'm using it, even if I can't see it. It's reading everything to me. I don't need to look at it, but it's like a natural reflex. And then the last type of comment that I'm going to talk about are comments that just straight up say, she's not blind, or you're not blind. That's all they say. And it's almost as if they think I'm like faking being blind, which for one is absurd, because I have over 60 videos on my channel of me talking about being blind, my experience being blind, different aspects of how blindness has shaped my life. I don't know how in the world a sighted person could fake being blind and do it that well, that they would have that much to talk about, that much material, and things that are probably not something that sighted people would ever think about. Secondly, why would you want to? Why in the world would someone want to pretend to be blind to make a YouTube channel about blindness? Because number one, like, it's very niche. I don't know, however you pronounce that word. It doesn't draw a very big audience. So if you're gonna fake something to get views, I don't know, I feel like you'd probably want to do something different. And also, I do not make money from my videos. I make these videos to share my story, to educate people, and to relate to fellow blind and visually impaired people. I do not profit from these videos. Even though I could, my channel has been eligible to be monetized for quite a long time now, but I choose not to. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying anything badly about blind YouTubers who do monetize their videos. I just choose not to, because that's not what I'm here for. So if I'm faking being blind to like get attention or to make money, I'm doing a really bad job. So now let's talk about how it feels to get these comments. So sometimes when I get comments of people saying I'm not blind, I just kind of roll my eyes and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But sometimes like they get to me, and I know people say like, don't let it bother you, it's just the internet, but like that's easier said than done. To me, these comments feel very dismissive. For one, I put a lot of work into these videos, and a lot of them are pretty vulnerable too. And so for someone to comment and say, I'm not blind, kind of says to me like this whole experience that you just shared isn't real, and because you're not blind. And for me, it feels almost like it's just erasing all of my hard work that I put into that video. It's also very dismissive in the fact that being blind is not always easy. Sometimes it is a real struggle. I feel like it kind of goes up and down for me. Like there are some times in my life where I feel like I'm just coasting and everything is fine. And then there are some times where it peaks and I'm really struggling. Like if I'm trying to get a job and I'm experiencing discrimination, or if I start a new job and I have like 5,000 accessibility issues, which happened to me recently, and I plan on making a video about that. So I feel like these comments of people accusing me of not being blind is very dismissive of my struggles and of my experience. If I'm sitting here saying like this aspect of my life is difficult because I'm blind, and then someone is just saying you're not blind, it's just very dismissive of those struggles. So yeah, I guess I'm going to wrap up this video. Moral of the story, two-sided people who are watching, is to never accuse someone of not being blind. Even if they don't meet your expectations, just give them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like so many people want to be the disability police. And if someone doesn't appear to have that disability, people just want to think that they are faking. So don't do that, because odds are they're not faking it. Like let's say 0.1% of people out there with a white cane are faking it. You know, odds are you're not gonna catch that person who makes up the 0.1%, and all you are doing is hurting the other 99.9% of actual blind people who are just trying to live their life. So I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know down in the comments if you are a blind YouTuber, what you do when you get these types of comments. Does it upset you? Does it not? And how do you respond to them? Do you just ignore them? Do you respond and try to educate? Or do you like respond with something snarky? Let me know and let's have a discussion about it. Also, let me know down in the comments below if you get accused of not being blind in real life. Share those stories and share how you respond to these people, because I'd really love to know what you guys say to that. And that's all for this one, and I will see you guys next time.